Today, what I wanted to talk about was something that's underrated or something that's not, or that's overlooked a lot, and that is your relationship with the hygienist. So what brought this to mind is actually yesterday, I was complimenting my clinical staff on what a great job they did on a specific case, and my hygienist thought I was complimenting them. And I was joking with them because I already have a lot of deposits in their bank account because I compliment them all the time, and it's in earnest. And so I said, "Hey, you guys did a great job." She goes, "We did? What did we do?" I said, "I don't know. What did you do?" And she's like, "Oh, we do plenty." I'm like, "Yes, of course you guys do plenty." But the truth is, this relationship with your hygienist as a patient is something that every patient really needs to be aware of and needs to capitalize on. And what I mean by that, and the people that already have this long-term relationship understand, because let's just say that you've gone through a lot of dental work initially with us as a new patient. We've done your exam, we've done your risk assessment, we had your plan. We're either working on your plan, or let's just say that we have completed your plan and now you're in maintenance. Now the hygienist is going to, through multiple meetings with us every time you come in, we have a huddle in the morning. I think we've talked about this before. This huddle is important because what I'm communicating with my staff is all this hard work that we put in the beginning on your risks, on your strategy, on your treatment plan, your master plan. This cannot be forgotten. This has to be documented. This has to be studied. This is our white paper on you, right? This is our stance. This is our master plan, and it really is. So it's not only that the clinical staff has to understand it, it's also the hygiene department has to understand it and own it. So when you're with the hygienist in maintenance now, she's aware of what your vulnerabilities are, where they are, and what your history has been, and on the strategy to prevent these things from coming up. So just think about all the contact she has with you. She's in every little nook and cranny. She's aware of the watch areas that we have documented. And she's able to observe these things and interact with you and see if some of these bad habits are still there, which they are going to be there. Let's face it. Bad habits are hard to break. So the things that got you there in the first place, history will try to repeat itself. And I always tell patients, I'm paranoid. And I am. I'm paranoid about these things until you can prove differently. And so let's just say cavities are your vulnerability, okay? It is something that until you go 3 years without a new cavity, I'm going to be paranoid. And I want the hygienist to be paranoid as well. And hopefully I want you to be paranoid. So it's one thing to be paranoid, but if you have a plan and you have a strategy, then you can feel like you're making progress towards getting out of the woods. And the hygienist is going to give you the tips. She's going to give you the path out of the woods, right? She's going to show you some of these same mistakes that you've been making because you can't know until you're educated on it. And you want to interact with her. So yes, let's get the niceties out of the way. Yes, we have a relationship we're building on. How's the weather? How's your son doing? Are they off to college? How's your health? All these things. But after that, let's get down to the meat of why you're there, which is to keep your teeth to 100. So you ask your hygienist, Kristen, how am I doing? Last time you told me this, am I doing it? You better hope that she knows. You better hope that she remembers that last conversation, because she said, last time you're missing your second molars and you're not flossing between here, and then you do that, and you come back in and she doesn't say anything, but she's talking about her, her kids off to college, and she never mentions your good job. Well, that's a little bit of a slight, and that's something that I would hope doesn't happen, because I'm always focusing with my staff on, listen, did you talk to them about the plan? Did you talk to them about their vulnerabilities? And once you once you get feedback on that and get tips, you're getting your return on investment, and you're getting the insurance that the same things that got you there before are not going to repeat themselves. So this conversation, yeah, she can be working, she can be, getting the job done, but at the same time, having somewhat of a conversation. I mean, granted, it's kind of one way, but when there are little breaks in the cleaning process, there's going to be a two-way conversation that you can take advantage of. So, that's one scenario where it may be cavities. What's another scenario? If you're periodontal risk and you're in periodontal maintenance, you came in and had the big surprise, and it's like, gee, we got to do the deep cleaning, the SRPs. You get the SRPs done, and you see the hygienist again, typically in 3 months, to kind of follow up on that. And if that is kind of like forgotten, it's like, okay, I had my SRPs, I guess I'm all good now. That's the beginning of the story. I see so many patients, and they had their SRPs done from another office. I see them 6 years later, and they're like, I already had the SRPs done. I should be okay. So there was no follow-up. There was no paranoia about, is this going to come back? So the conversation with your hygienist would be, okay, so we just got the SRPs done. We're kind of hopefully starting with a clean slate. Let's see how you've done in the meantime. Let's see how much of this buildup has come back. Let's see what you're doing to mitigate the buildup, and let's see how the pockets have healed. So you want to go in and you want to be, we love the patients that go, what about that 6 that was back here? How is that doing now? We love those patients, right? The hygienist is going to be like, oh, they're paying attention. And they're going to get excited because they know that their work is paying off. So yes, she's going to say, well, let me go back and check. Numbers don't lie. Don't get disappointed if that 6 is now 5, or don't be disappointed if that 6 is now still 6. But ask the question, well, what can I do to improve it? What do we need to do to improve it? And, that starts the conversation again. That gets your relationship built with the dental office, with the hygienist, and you can start to heal, which is what is nice about dentistry, as they say all the time, is you can get better 10 years from your initial visit, 10 years down the road, be better health, have better predictability. And so if you are that high-risk periodontal patient and your hygienist is helping you get out of the woods with the proper tools to use, it may be proxy points that somebody needs to use, it may be rinses that you need to use, different scientific rinses that are out there now, like the Perioscience rinses, things to mitigate the bacterial load that you have. It may be that you have to take a new set of x-rays and see, is all the calculus, all the tartar gone? So that type of follow-up is important. If you had 6mm pockets and 90% of them have healed, but you have 1 or 2 that haven't, there's a reason why that hasn't healed. Sometimes you take an x-ray and they're like, oh, I missed a little area. You go back in there and get it, and guess what? It heals. Another scenario would be somebody who's a tooth cracker, right? Somebody who's a tooth cracker, who's going to find that crack? Cracks are hard to find. The hygienist is. So I'm going to walk in, and the hygienist is going to let me know. I usually know what the tone is when I walk in, like, oh, things must be good. They're talking about fun stuff, right? If it's kind of a little more tense, I'm like, okay, what's going on with Sally today? Well, we've talked about it. Sally has this, that, and the other, and ideally, she's already got a picture up on a monitor. The patient is already aware of the situation, and I'm just there to confirm it. So a good hygienist is, they're not diagnosing the problem, but they're educating the patient on the problems, and the dentist is there to make sure that that is diagnosed properly on what the hygienist has talked about with the patient, that's actual, he'll put the diagnosis on it, and then you come up with a treatment plan. So if your hygienist isn't doing these type of things, and they're just doing a cleaning, well, not only are you more likely to not keep up with the cleanings because you don't value them as much, but the hygienist is also going to burn out. And a hygienist that understands the value of what she is doing or he is doing and have patients that understand that value as well, well, they're going to tend to stay with the practice for a long time. So at least Kristen with my practice has been there 25 years. If patients came in, didn't see Kristen, they would be very, very distraught. It'd be a problem. In fact, they may leave the practice. So this is testament to how valuable she is to those patients. And I've been talking about Kristen because she's been with me the longest, but my other hygienist wasn't picked at random. Amber was selected very carefully. We found her in hygiene school, and she was top of her class. She has that attention to detail, and she offers the same level of care, but a slightly different twist, if you will. And so it's nice because patients develop kind of a little bit of they may favor one over the other just based on their personalities. And so it's nice to have that combination with Amber and her specific skill sets and communication style, and Kristen with her experience and her rapport with patients to make that patient feel that they're taken care of, that they're getting their return on investment. And with Amber, she's been with the practice now about 4 years, and she's more of an analytical, very thorough, very careful, very thoughtful. So Amber will not say anything unless it's really well thought out. So when Amber tells me something, it's like, she's got to be right. She's never wrong. And I know that she has really thought it through, and she has really already come to a pretty good determination that this is what she is thinking is correct. And so it's so nice to have the different personality types. Kristen's more of a counselor type. We've done personality testing, and she's really good at counseling patients and talking with them and making them feel secure about it. Amber's style, she's very, very factual, very analytical, so you can see that there's going to be those different personality traits are going to favor one patient over the other sometimes, or just depends on who you grew up with. If you grew up with Amber, you're going to want to stay with her most likely, and vice versa. Another scenario would be, my hygienists are very skilled in talking about the actual different modalities of dentistry. So it used to be when I started, if a patient had a question about Invisalign, let's wait for the doctor to come in and talk about that. That's not the way our hygienists have been trained. If you have a question about Invisalign, my hygienists are going to tell you all about it. They're going to educate you on it. And about the time I walk into the room, the heavy lifting has been done as far as all the details that you need to know. I'm just going to put my blessing on it and say, yes, listen to Amber, she's right, because she is. And, same thing about when you have questions about if they've diagnosed and think that you need a root canal. I'm going to come in and most likely they're going to be right. But the thing is I've found you're going to listen to them a little bit more than you may listen to the doctor. And I don't know, I guess they, just have a better relationship a lot of times with the hygienist because they're more at ease. Sometimes the doctor walks in and it's like, oh no, he's going to give me bad news, or the communication isn't as robust as with a hygienist that you feel very comforted with and secure with. And I think that if you have that type of relationship, that type of rapport with your hygienist, it's just you get the point. It's invaluable, and they can really help patients get to health. As I say, if there are these obstacles in your way of getting to a healthy state, and your hygienist is aware of these obstacles and can convey those to you, and your vulnerabilities and the things and strategies that you need to do to get there, you're more likely to get there. So in general, what we find is when a patient's going to come in, they know their hygienist is going to be the same. They already know what to expect. There's trust built in there for sure. And both of my hygienists, I can tell you, I've gotten my teeth cleaned by both of them on a regular basis. It's like butterflies in your mouth, where my patients consistently say, she's good. I'm like, why did you say she's good? They go, well, I can't even tell she's in my mouth. It feels like, I've had hygienists before that it's like they're bracing, and yeah, I fall asleep during my cleaning appointments. And patients that may have sensitivities, let's just say there's lots of patients out there that do not like getting their teeth cleaned because you get those one areas that are like, kind of light you up a little bit. If your hygienist knows you really well, you were going to walk in the room, she's going to say, I know number 12 is a little bit touchy, we're going to kind of stay away from that, or we're going to put some sensitivity medicine on that, or even numb certain areas. They both can do that. They can numb you and make you feel comfortable for those appointments. So it is that attention to detail that is worth every penny to have the comfort of knowing your hygienist well and taking that relationship up to the next level. And that is something that everybody should seek out. And it will definitely result in easier care, more stress-free care. And we've been talking about the patient that is in maintenance. A patient that is working through their treatment plan, it becomes even more important because now you're working through the treatment plan, and a lot of times if you have a complex plan that you're trying to get through your A's, the things that need to be done like yesterday, sometimes you can forget about these, and these A's or the things that were B's turn into urgencies, and you relying on your hygienist to kind of let you know what's next. I want her to look at you and say, okay, and we always say we're not pushers, we're somebody who's your resource to get to where you need to be. So after they're done with their cleaning, the conversation typically is, hey, this is where you are on the plan. As we like to joke, this is something that we expect you to have on your refrigerator, and you're crossing off. Talk with your hygienist about where am I on this plan? How many A's do I have left? When can I get to this one? I know it's a C, but I want to get to this one soon. And these are the things that you talk about with them as you're navigating through the plan while you're trying to get to maintenance. And so next time that you are in your appointment with your hygienist, take advantage of that and build that communication, build a rapport.